Another man confessed to the murders, and somehow the execution still moved forward.
But he's on the other side of things that I should have been. With him getting a death penalty, that should have been me.
And when people hear that, their brain immediately goes, okay, then how is this guy still ending up on death row? And honestly, that's where the case starts getting difficult.
Whatever they throw at me, hopefully the death penalty.
Because for this execution to stop, the system needed to become uncertain again. Not emotionally uncertain, but procedurally uncertain about one thing: who actually pulled the trigger? And people got pulled into all kind of side arguments, like the rap lyrics, the death penalty, whether Texas just wanted this case over with. And look, emotionally, people were all over the place on this one because it was a brutal crime. Multiple murders. You're sitting on death row, but emotionally conflicted and procedurally broken are two different things. Because years earlier, the jury already convicted James Broadnack as the shooter, not just involved or someone nearby, but the shooter. And once a finding like that survives trial and appeals, years inside the system, it automatically hardens. And that's the part people don't really think about. And then all of a sudden, a confession shows up. A cousin, a co-defendant, saying, I was the one who pulled the trigger. And honestly, at first, it sounds massive. Like, how does that not stop everything? But here's the issue. The confession wasn't entering an open case anymore. It was entering a case the system believed it already resolved. And that changes the standard completely. Because now, the confession has to do more than just create doubt. It has to force the system backward. And that's much harder, especially after years of appeals. Because now, the confession isn't fighting uncertainty anymore. It's fighting finality. It removed uncertainty because the jury already identified the shooter. It removed procedural movement because the conviction had already survived appeal after appeal. And eventually, the courts ruled the confession wasn't enough to reopen the case. And once that happened, the execution timeline kept moving. At that point, the system wasn't deciding who committed the murders anymore. See, that part was already decided years earlier. Now it was deciding something else: whether anything new was powerful enough to undo what already existed. And that's the part that sticks with people, because somebody comes forward and says, hey, I was a shooter, and instinctively, you think everything should stop. But by then, the structure already was there. The verdict, the appeals, the findings, everything had already hardened. So the confession didn't enter a flexible system. It entered a finalized one.
It happened. Cause man, I ain't ever killed nobody before. You know what I'm saying? I done shot at some people before. Ain't no problem you pull a pistol, you know.
And once the courts decided it wasn't enough to pull the case backward, the process just keeps moving forward. That was the fatal detail.